maybe because it's new, but it's like pretty dangerous. You can do that and hold
Lock
it.
Yep.
Hold it. You let go. That locks it.
I got you. Yeah.
And this one, I'm not sure what this button does.
Self-destruct, I think. I don't know.
Oh, this one at the bottom too.
So what have you done with it so far?
So the bottom holds it as well. I'm trying to look up shelving for you.
And did you decide to get that, what's the name?
Oh, it was
for
gone.
beach? Oh, was it?
I thought it'd go quick. It was only up there for an hour.
I'd quite happily have like just a basket in the
I'll
kitchen.
find something. I'll keep looking.
It's raining.
Just got to be patient. Things come.
Yeah. It's not. It's actually warmer tonight than it was this morning. It was freezing this morning when I got up. It was cold.
Yeah, it was cold.
Finish. Maybe get both done tomorrow. Maybe not.
Depends how long it's rained in for.
Yeah, so I have to grab some newspaper for somewhere.
It's not easy. There's not many newspapers around anymore.
No, true. We'll just have lots of fish and chips for a month. Use the white paper. That ride was funny that I watched the Downies that seemed to go out.
Just
I don't know, probably 100 yards. Come back in.
Just as.
Just a fear factor, maybe.
Yeah.
Sound of rain. Have you ever seen the rain coming down? Oh, there's people in the room. I don't know. Sorry if you've said something. I haven't been watching. But hello.
Right.
Hello, hello. Hello, Tony. Saturday night here, watching my team, the Eagles, getting their ass kicked by the Gold Coast, which is very unusual. It is wet weather. It's probably brought them down a rung or two. But at least the footy's back. All I've been doing all day is putting paint stripper on the poles, sanding them back, paint stripper, sanding, all day. 2 down, 2 to go. What have you been up to, mate? Have you ventured out? Dining? RSL Club? I like a good feed at the RSL. Had many a meal there myself. Nothing much. You get too much solar today with the rain. Got about 13, I think. Get them days though. And the sound of rain tumbling down. Wife cooked tonight. We just had vegetables. Put sour cream and sweet chilli sauce. It was nice. Mind you, sanding for the last couple of days and scraping. Geez, my hands are sore. Got 80 in the battery still, and been using a bit of power. Good stuff, mate.
Don't tell me that other team's winning.
Yeah, strange, isn't it?
Oh God, the team I don't even remember or heard of.
I've phoned the company that installed our solar twice now. I said, can you give us a quote for a battery and a smart meter, because I haven't got a smart meter. Yeah, they just don't get back to me. I phoned them about 3 weeks ago. I phoned them about 2 days ago. Yes, we get back to you straight away. No. So I might have to look elsewhere. We did get automatic blinds installed on the back patio today. They're pretty cool. Got a remote to turn them up and down if you need to or want to. And we got a message today. Our lounge we've been waiting 6 weeks for. That'll be coming, what did I say, the 18th?
Yeah, I don't.
Shame the government's not, offering free batteries for people instead of 25 grand for something weird. I worked out with our usage. We're in credit with the power company, but there's some sort of levy that the WA government have put in there, and I'm thinking, plus that was always during the sunny part of the year we had here, so I'm thinking, I probably don't need 10 kilowatt, but I'll see what the prices are. I'm willing to pay about 10 grand, but might get something less, because I worked out with our kilowatt meter, we only use about, bugger all, from about sunset till sunrise, maybe 2 kilowatt, because we generally have a little light on. These lights out the back, they're only 10 watts. I did a bit of a check. I'd probably get away with something like 4 or 5 kilowatt. But we'll see what prices come up. Plus again, like you say before, you got the autonomy of a power failure, and you don't have one. We had one recently here with a big storm we had go through. It ripped our fence down. About 12 hours without power. It's no big deal. It was all during daytime, basically. Yeah, and the other place I lived in, Mandurah, I had my own system, and never paid any electricity bills. And yeah, so I'm used to not paying anything. Like the big telly you can see in the background, that's 100 watt. It's only been turned on about an hour and a half ago. It'll get turned off shortly. Don't watch a lot of telly. Everything's pretty economical these days. But with the fridge running and the bar fridge out here, what else gets going at night time? Nothing really. So Yeah, 2 or 3 kilowatt max. I don't know if you worked it out. Yeah, I started doing it just as the turn of the century, mate. My first solar panel was 100 watt and it was $800 fucking dollars. Kid you not. Now they give them away. I had 3 systems actually. I had a system for the big shed I had, a system for the back patio, and a system for running everything else. And everything was interchangeable in regards to, you know, if a battery failed, I could just rip down another one off another one. So I did that on purpose. But I've got a little shed now at the back. I'll probably find a battery box, get something like a, I don't know, between 80 and 100 watt amp battery. I just have probably a 40 to 80 watt panel, and then I can light up a little back area in the shed. And at the back of the shed, we're going to have a little fire pit out there eventually. But at the moment, I'm sanding 100-year-old veranda posts. They're magnificent, but I worked out there's about 18 layers of fucking paint on them with a mixture of water-based, oil-based, water-based, oil-based. Yeah, I mean, there's 4 10-watt downlights out here, and we only have it on really low, but so they're probably only pulling 5 watts. And I could have these on for 2 or 3 hours. Inside's the same, we've got all LED. It's really a case of your appliances and what you're drawing. You just work backwards from what you're using to what you need. Cool. I was gonna, a few times, like in the kitchen, I could do with an underbench light, but I waited until we installed the exhaust, and that lights nearly the whole kitchen up. So I'm thinking, it'll look pretty, but cool, excellent. It's so easy these days. You just add an adapter onto the socket, tune it into your iPhone if you like, let alone iPad. The good thing is that, say you're out, you could say, all right, I'll be home in half an hour, turn the aircon on. So by the time you get home, it's nice and cold. But I'll be honest, we turn our aircons on and within 5 minutes it's cold anyway. So sometimes technology, you know, it's there, but do you need it? Oh, I see. Globe's effect of the router. I got you. I've seen another bloke's got his whole house smart. You can actually, there's the old type, you know, clap your hands, lights come on. And you can talk the telly on, TV on. Look at getting this veranda. It's not going to be a big veranda, but it's all going to be good timber, Merbau timber for the decking. It's only about a 6 foot wide veranda, but it's at the front in summertime. Sun comes up early and the front is sort of in shade by about 10 o'clock in summer. So nice to sit out there and get a nice breeze as well, because the southerly kicks in that way. Little hidey hole to go during summer, mainly in the mornings and late afternoon. There's nothing wrong with out here, but you know what I mean, if the sun's blazing in here in midsummer, it's nice and shady out the front. Be nice. Have a cuppa, or maybe a beer at night time. The wife's the same. She likes little hidey holes. I'll show you when I do the little fire pit behind the shed. It's got the park benches that we've refurbished. Going to get a little fire pit. All the plants are around there. Might build a pergola yet, not sure. And then, yeah, so have a little hidey hole there. One out the front, one out the back. Good to have little different spots in your home to go to. But I haven't had much time for doing any cooking because I've been sanding, so the wife's been cooking. So we're eating lots of vegetables. Nothing wrong with that. Just I crave a nice big steak now after about a week of working. The sound of raindrops. But everything here is just about normal, mate. Went to Bunnings today, picked up a bit more paint stripper and some sanding pads, and the place was full. I've just been full all the time, I suppose, because that's what a lot of people have been doing when they've been home doing DIY. Frau Poppyfield. Guten Morgen. Das ist gut to see you, the Poppyfield. It's funny, all the kids, you know, when they know there's a bit of work on, you don't hear from them. What's he doing today? Oh, he's sanding and lifting this and digging that. Oh, well, we're busy. With a bit of Coates 9000 series. All right. They sound like the HAL computer on the Space Odyssey. My carver is good and cool. Not like a good carver. I'll be glad when tomorrow's finished. Hopefully get those other 2 posts done. Because my old hands, they cramp up. And after I've sanded them all back, I've got to plug and paint them. That's the easy bit though. One second. Just checking the score. It's not got any better. Our team's getting flogged. So what has Coates been up to? Let me guess. He's been eating pizza. I'm only guessing, by the way. He's probably complaining about something. He's probably not donating to the fat man in the can. And what else would he be doing? Well, someone told me he lost his bike a while ago. Someone flogged it. That's not good. Most people are creatures of habit, so you can say that these people are Groundhog Day, but they have certain things they always do, like complain, beg for money, complain, You get a moment with Tasha Turner, right? I put money to a brick you don't get on with her. Actually, someone came up with a good terminology the other day. He rants once in a while. Yeah, he does. It was a sort of transgender explanation of how you can call someone without offending them. And I thought, well, I don't know, but it sounded quite logical. So if you're not sure if it's a he or him, they say call him herm, H-E-R-M. And I'm thinking, now would that be offensive? Herm. Yeah. Who did it? Herm did it. I mean, I don't think of people as gender or colour or race. I really don't. We've got friends that are gay, we've got friends that are lesbian, and I don't really care. I don't have to hop into bed with them. And it's up to whatever they want to do, but they're good people. I do notice, and I'll whisper so no one else hears, okay? That some of the most aggressive women on the bottom of YouTube were formerly blokes. There's a bit of a theme there, if you know what I mean. Once a bloke, now a woman, and aggressive is all hell. So they didn't lose any of the male instinctiveness of being aggressive. Right. What makes a woman? Well, in my eyes, woman, I like to be, this is just me, feminine, strong, don't get me wrong. So just because you're a woman and you're very feminine, I like women that are strong, that are decisive, know what they're on about, etc. But when I have in real life met a transgender, and I couldn't help myself, what was his name? His name was Alex in reality, Alexa, like the computer thing, Alexa, many years ago. And I said, what made you want to dress up to be a woman? He said, I've always felt that within me, I've always been the woman. And I said, well, you got size 12 feet, got enormous hands, and if you don't mind me asking, and I'm not being offensive, what have you got stuffed down in that bra? And he said, socks. I said, well, you really just dressed up as a woman. So, I mean, you call yourself what you like, but for me, you'd be just like a cross-dresser, I suppose. The moustache was a bit of a giveaway. I said, why haven't you shaved off the moustache? I like it. I said, okay, fair enough. So Tony would know the next thing. Do you remember Auntie Jack? Farewell, Auntie Jack. How well know you'll be back. Now, Auntie Jack had a moustache as well. You live in a two-gender world. I do too. I see someone as a woman or a man. Now, if it's a woman, it's really not really a woman. In my eyes, it's not a woman. But that doesn't mean I'm being offensive. It's my perception. So, like I say, if any of the transgender ever said to me, how do you see me? And I said, well, if you're asking me, I'd say, well, you look like a bloke dressed up as a woman. But, yeah, I'm with you there. See, the point of view of someone wanting to be recognised as something needs to accept my point of view, that my perception stays as well. Just because you want something doesn't mean my perception has to agree with you. So that's how it works. You can have your cake and you can eat it, but you can't force other people to take slices off it, if you know what I mean. So I'm like Scar, I see, like, I'll give you a great example. The two lesbians we know, one is definitely more masculine, but still feminine. Still, they both like to be girls, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah.
The two lesbians.
Yeah.
So they're girlies, but one is like into fishing, four-wheel driving, But that's not a blokey thing, that's just a thing. So they're really two women that live together. Not a bloke woman and a woman woman. And the two gays that we used to live next to, they're both blokes. Really, aren't they? One's a landscaper, one works for the government. So they're blokes. What they do in their bedroom, I don't care. But they're good people.
One of them's a bit more feminine than the other one. Feminine.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh, probably more emotional than feminine, do you know what I mean? So I see man and woman, and anything in between is their choice. Yeah, I agree. Scarlett, that's in a nutshell what it is. It's the imposition of me. Let's say I put on a dress tonight and a wig and a bit of lippy, Scarlett, and I come out and say, I want you to recognise me as Mary. Scarlett's reply with, Seeds, take off the wig and the dress and don't be silly. Because your perception would be, nah, that's not going to work.
I think some people don't go that last step in their ops is because of that's final.
I remember sitting around having meeting with psychologists, and the issue of transgender came up. And the deep psychology, without being rude to anyone, if you're a woman who wants to be a man or a man who wants to be a woman, the psychology behind it is that in most cases, give you an example, say a man that wants to be recognised now as a woman, wasn't recognised as a man, if you get where I'm going with this. Otherwise, they couldn't make it as their original gender, but a bit of lippy and a dress and a wig, and then they get a bit of attention and something they've not normally had. There's nothing wrong with that, but the point being is that usually a lot of people can't make it as the gender they're born because no one likes them, they're not popular, life seems humdrum. Whack a bit of lippy and put a wig on, get a bit of attention. Lots of people crave attention. I agree, Jojo. I am not gay, my boyfriend is. But it's all irrelevant what people do in their own bedrooms, but no one is going to tell me what my perception is. Like Scarlett, I see man and I see woman. I don't care what they do in the bedrooms. I really don't care. But there are good people and bad people. But, you know, I could not force Scarlett to recognise me as Mary. Because it'd be like, it wouldn't stick with her. She'd be saying, nah.
The name Mary wouldn't suit you.
Yeah, well, that's a problem. That's not a choice. Anyone, a 50-year-old man who wants to be recognised as a 6-year-old girl, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a bit. That's lost for words with that. That's an illness.
The funniest one I ever heard, and by Deepole he changed his name. In Victoria, a guy wanted to be known as Rooster. Just one name, Rooster. And he would get up in the morning and he'd dress up with feathers. Want the world to recognise me as a rooster. The world turned around and said, no, you're an idiot.
Yeah, that's just mental illness.
So I think he ended up with rooster dysphoria. Just, I don't care what people want to do with their own lives, but the perception that I hold is mine. And it shan't be changed, forced, or bent by anyone. Particularly if a man says, my name's Alexa, wears a dress and a wig and still has a moustache. But the world is turning to a point that in 30 or 40 years, you probably won't know the difference.
back because I got to pay. Just got to share that with the room.
Is it coffee time? Or?
You want a coffee?
Do you want one?
No.
Oh, no, I don't worry. I'll just have water then. That's cool. So how have you been, Jojo? I have been listening and watching as the United States unfolds and go back to work and people start getting sick again. It's terrible. Oh, I don't know what your thoughts on the latest in regards to anyone or anything in regards to past slavery. You know, all the statues coming down, and in my state alone there's a range called King Leopold Range, which is a big area. It's magnificent and it's got lagoons and creeks and rivers and mountains. It's beautiful. But King Leopold was the Belgian king who basically enslaved the Congo. So today, the state government said the name will be changing. How far does this go? Protests, some protesters don't even know what they are. Yeah, I agree, Jojo. More the milling crowd. Well, you can see why. It's like, I know that Robert E. Lee got pulled down, I believe, and other statues are believed to be pulling down, and the Confederate flags not to be used. But if you want to go in depth, and the world says, okay, we agree with this change. Well, that ends the royal family overnight. Anyone knows their history in regards to the British Empire, there'd be no royal family.
Excuse me.
I liked a few slaves every now and then. But how far do we go? How far does this PC go? Pull down every statue of anyone ever associated with a family that was into slavery? Well, that gets rid of most of the wealthiest people in the world. Most of the wealthiest people in the world are wealthy for a very good reason, like sugarcane, spice trade. So it'd just be us guys in the room left. What you can't do is change history. And I do understand, to give you an example, this is what we wouldn't accept during this day and age, is someone building a statue of Adolf Hitler. That wouldn't happen because of the atrocities. But some of the wealthiest families in the world associated with slavery, it's a pretty big atrocity, if you know what I mean. So how far do we go? Do we go right back and we say to the Queen, I'm sorry, because your family has all been associated in the past with slavery, we've decided to end the monarchy. Well, if we're going to pull down Robert E. Lee and change the name of our magnificent King Leopold Range, because the Belgian king it was named after, well, basically enslaved the Congo. So how far do we go? That's my point. That's where I was getting, Scarlett. Am I to be held responsible for the invasion of Australia? Well, my skin colour might suggest so, but how far do we go? The Native Americans stand up and wave goodbye to everyone else other than Native Americans as they leave the shores of Northern America, just left now to the Native. Where are you going to go? There's a lot of things that can't be done, can't be undone. Because, like I say, if we want to talk about slavery, Australia's had it. Every country that's been taken over, if you like, has had slavery. Yeah, well, if you're reading the newspapers or watching online today, Jojo, your eyebrows may go up a little bit. Lots of states in the US are having big spikes. And it's very sad. And people are talking as it being a second wave. No, it's not a second wave in the US. It's the same wave. I did not read today.
I haven't seen you for a while, Jojo. What have you been up to?
It's back in a big way, Jojo. The COVID thing is BS. Well, no, it's not. There are people we know that work in hospitals in the US that know quite well. There are people in Brazil who don't have a chance to go to hospital, or India. The UK is still going through it. And if you want to just check death mortality over normal years, just compare them to this year. And you know that the COVID's not bullshit.
No, that's just mob mentality in the heat of the moment. Everything else went out the window when they started protesting. It didn't matter
The
what was
tests are
happening.
infected. Have you got a test kit for us to do a private analysis on that, Scarlett? Actually, not here. I think I told you about 3 weeks ago, Scarlett. Pool most of the time. Yep, sounds like a good idea, Joe. About 3 weeks ago, the figures for April came out in regards to the seasonal flu in my state, which there are normally 1,100 to 1,400 cases of flu. Because of social distancing and people just staying away from each other, in April we had 20 people with the flu. Not 1,100, not 1,400, and out of the 11 to 1,400, about 40 people would die. This year, no one's died. So you can do all the checking yourself in your own countries. There are statistics you can find out. You can do it in your own state, Tony. You can find out the normal infection rate for pneumonia or the common flu or whatever flu's going around at the time. And you can compare it each year over many, many years. Those figures are facts. And around the globe, the normal flu is down like you wouldn't believe because people have been staying away from each other. Well, other than Americans who've been rubbing shoulders together, protesting about something, I don't know, just holding up a placard. Let's all make it very clear. Black lives do matter. There's no question about that. But stupid people who gather to protest at this time are just stupid. We've got things happening in our state for the last 20 years, like in certain remote parts of Australia. There is no white fella in uniform. It's just black fella with a uniform. And they're from the community. Yeah, all lives matter. There's no question about that, Scarlett. But I'm an ex-prison officer. I can tell you how the black people in my country have been treated for the last 30 or 40 years. Not good. Yeah, it will do, Tony. I think if you can just treat people with kindness, regardless of colour or creed, yeah, you're on the right track. And I've said for years, police officers, say, working in Tony Abbott's area, should live in Tony Abbott's area. What does that mean? Well, they're part of the community. That would make it so much more simpler. Even in districts, say in New York, which is really, really busy with lots of people, you can have people who are police officers in the Bronx who live in the Bronx. Makes it simple. You know why it was simple? Because that's how it used to be. The poor get help. Well, the poor should get help. There's nothing wrong with helping the poor. Not every year, not for decades, but definitely helping them. Yep, I agree with that. You must work for what you've got. Some people don't have the capability, skill or knowledge to do that. I have a solar system, so I run the AC. Yeah, I agree with you. That's what we do. But mind you, our house is so insulated. I don't know how many times we've turned the aircon on. Twice this winter. No question about that, Scarlett. Everyone's life is important. But I can tell you that the incarceration rate of Aboriginals in my country is unacceptable. And I'm an ex-prison officer. And it's socioeconomic. They come from an indoctrinated drinking lifestyle of their grandparents and parents. They just copy it. And they have a different culture than we do. And they are incarcerated at a ratio of about 4 to 1. And there are only 6% Aboriginals in Australia. In fact, you know, there are more Chinese that live in Australia than Aborigines. That might shock you. Of course, we've been accused by the Chinese of racism against Chinese people. And most of the Chinese Australian here say, get stuffed Beijing. Propaganda, they say, and that's the Chinese in Australia, not the Australians in Australia. But there's a big crunch coming soon in our country. Come September, when all the goody little bits of money that are being given away stop. No more free childcare. And there's lots of people on the edge with their mortgage. Our local churches are packed with food for the needy. It's great. It's brilliant. No one goes hungry in Australia. We have, 25 million people. And any given time, there are about 100,000 homeless people. A lot of those are under the age of 25, can't live at home. And drug issues, no question. And of course, there's just old fellas that don't want to live in a home. Well, it's not odd, it's their priority, Scarlett. If you think about it. If you're homeless, it'd be handy to have a phone. Oh, I don't know. If you didn't have a roof over your head each night, Scarlett, I would consider your lifestyle poor. Poor is not a monetary thing in my eyes. It's a lifestyle. Like the greatest example we all know, the difference between living and existing. The fat man in the can simply exists. He doesn't live. There's no living going on, just existing. So each day is the same as the next. He fears the night time. Someone's going to knock on his door. Squirrel going to attack him. So if you understand the difference between living and existing, there's a huge separation. I'm pretty sure Tony Abbott will be going on holiday sometime. Maybe get another car. Maybe go for a nice long drive in his nice vehicle now. Maybe go out to a decent, him and his missus probably spend $150 at a restaurant. That's living. Heating up a pot of 2-minute noodles is existing. Sleeping from car park to car park. Yeah, it's so easy to use as a metaphor though. It's like, kids, don't grow up like this. Well, if you think about a couple of the main issues with just existing, you spend $600 on a shopping spree. Dress, shoes. His health is terrible, morbidly obese, lives in abject poverty, filth, craps in a bag. If I was doing what's the dating site called? Tinder. If I was doing a resume, it'd be like, must have a woman with no kids, near death, lots of money, and likes changing Walmart bags of crap. Yeah, that'll about do it. As long as I can only be with you for a few months and you die and I get your wealth, that'll be good. Man, things are going to get cheap shortly because no one's really spending. There's been a little bit of discretionary spending, but things are going to get tough here in Australia. Even a beaded dress, nice. Taking you back to your hippie days, Scarlett. Now listen, bow, 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 bow. Scarlett said, I will send you a pic. Have you got the dress on, have you, Scarlett? Did you get all flashy? Red shoes? Huh? Red shoes as well? Click your heels. A dress for a queen.
Because I haven't bought clothes in so long. I just seem to be wearing the same winter clothes. Wash and wear, wash, wear, wash, wear.
I wear the same clothes but then cover them in paint and acid
Right.
and then throw them away.
Yeah, well, I do need to get some more.
You're sounding very Priscilla Queen of the Desert there, Scarlett.
Oh, sounds nice.
You know, in Australia, if someone was like the big fat man in the can, the authorities would have got to him by now. And they would have placed him in care.
If what?
If the fat man in the can was in Australia, he would be taken in. Wouldn't call it custody, but it'd be like care. And there'd be a series of psychological evaluations done and where and what could be helped to attend to his behaviours. But in America, it just seems like they're just, no, it's all right. It's all good. He would not survive here.
Probably because there's too many. Right.
Oh.
Over there.
You're going to get invited to the coronation. Really? Who's going to become the next king or queen?
Oh, it's got cold.
Yeah, it wouldn't take long for the authorities in Australia to drag him in and just calm him down. Mate. Calm down, mate. Calm down, mate. It's all right.
Now, is Tony there? Tony, Tony, you must tell your mate, get some of this stuff. Because it kills ants, but also fleas and bed bugs.
Oh, look here.
So, Tony, can
Look
you
at that.
please pass a message on to him for us?
I don't know if it's in view. It says, effectively controls ants, fleas and bed bugs. Now send your mate one of these.
So, just, yeah, give him... I couldn't believe it when I read that.
I think his main problem would be his failing liver. Well, we've never had bed bugs, but I know people that have, and they ended up burning all the clothes, ripping up all the carpets. You just cannot get rid of them unless you go back to bare bones.
Yeah, just chucked everything.
Oh no, hope there's some counselling going to be happening there, Jojo. The delusion is so grand with the morbidly obese fat man in the can that he actually thinks that people love him. I think the L word's definitely there, but it's loathe. And why do people watch him or make him dance like a monkey for a few pennies? Because they can. It's like having a village idiot all on your own, throwing out a few pennies and he dances. Dance, monkey, dance. And, believe it or not, it's some attention he's getting, so it works for him. So that's the trade-off for him, is that, you know, I don't know how many times in the past I would hear him say, 5 likes out of 100 people is not good enough. I know there are more than 5 people that like me. No, no one likes you at all. You are the dancing monkey. You don't live, you exist. And for anyone that wants to play you like a dancing monkey, they can turn on in a 24/7 hour period and make you dance. You are not even a court jester, sideshow alley jester. You know, let's say he had some counselling like kids do at school. Right, what are you going to be when you grow up? Well, I'm going to be fat. All right, other than the ambition to become fat, which you've achieved, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? Eat and masturbate in any order. Right, well, you've achieved that, and so you're a nomad. Well, yeah, but you live in car parks. Well, I call myself a nomad because it's a sort of title that gives me a bit of royalty. Oh, so you're royalty? Yeah, I'm a king. You're a king of what? Car parks. Yeah, that's fair enough. King of car parks, you can have that one. And what sort of diet do you eat? Oh, anything with sugar, fat, salt. In fact, Elisa Marie just oozes. I'm not sure what it is that comes out from underneath the floorboards, but it just oozes on the road. Causes accidents behind me. I think it's grease, I'm not sure. Right, so other than all those things that you've already achieved, being basically lazy, loathsome, a dancing monkey, morbidly obese, and just existing and not living, what else did you want to achieve in life? No, that'll do. All right, thanks for the interview. Goodbye. Good boy. Can you donate to me before you go? No, fuck off. End of meeting. Yes, that sounds a bit strange. There's one thing having a delusion of grandeur, but that's usually attuned to people that actually do try to become great and famous. Not for those people to have a delusion of grandeur and just sit in a car park and get fat. There is no grandeur there. There is no kingdom. I don't think they hold the most beautiful or morbidly obese man competition in the world, so you can't enter that.
He couldn't enter any competition. What could he enter?
He could enter the Laziest Person of the Year. Oh, he just, look, I mean, Tony, you know the old Australian saying, someone that just waffles on and on and on and just dribble crap all day, every day. But it's not, I don't miss the point, is that he needs the audience more than they need him. If you get what I mean. There's lots of people like that on the bottom of YouTube. They need the audience more than the audience need them. The defend has diabetes, I'm sure it does. And that means they're not in control. Anyone that seeks and needs attention from others and doesn't get it, a bit like Peter Pan. You know the story of Peter Pan. If you stop believing in Peter Pan, he fades away. Hello, Buttercup, you're late. Go stand outside my door. No, just kidding. Good morning. Yeah, they do. Their perception is that they, tricked people. We've got these gullible people. Little do they know, they're the dancing monkey. The people, who are quite smart, make them dance. Like I say, the difference between living and existing is prevalent on Boyd, that most of these people just exist. I think Gerald would have trouble interacting socially with people. He'd feel awkward. He does have dyslexia, but that's nothing wrong with that. But he is socially awkward. I think he's a nice kid myself. Works,
He has his moments.
travels.
Yeah, he just has his moments.
Yeah, so out of the bunch of bananas at the bottom of Boyd, I think, Coates is okay.
Oh, yes, bring us all one. It's just too late for me to have one. It's 8:30.
You're just too lazy, you don't want to make it, do you?
That's another reason. I know you've been working harder than me.
What makes you think that?
Because I'm not the one down there sanding those 100-year-old posts. Or I've been doing other things. Like I have a moose in the house.
Oh, Buttercup, he would not survive. He has nowhere to go. When people use the analogy, when people hit the bottom, he's already there. When you think about not getting attention at all, it would be very
He'd find some
despair.
other way to survive. If people didn't give him money.
Well, he just exists, so he'll exist
Yeah.
some means and some form. And I don't know anyone who gets up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and has breakfast. Not sure if anyone else here does
We
it.
get up early, but sometimes don't have breakfast. We don't only eat cereal at night, but we're up in the morning.
No, I'm saying it's like normal days, get up at 4, eat some more, then make an excuse. Someone told me the other day, who watches him regularly, that he has seen his mother once. He likes T-bone steak. Are you saying Gerald is a little bit, la-di-da? I don't think so, but I don't watch him, so I don't know if he's putting dress and lippy on by now, but it just seems like a socially awkward, but seems like he works and seems okay. But if you tell him he's wearing lippy in a week, let me know. And we're opening up so much at the turn of next month, we can have 10,000 people at sporting games. Australians love their sport. So that would be just about back to normal. We can have 1,000 people go to watch a play, a theatre. We can have 10,000 people go and watch a band. And no one's sick here from this stuff because we all just hid in a cave for a month. Yeah, I saw the spikes this morning off memory. It was Arkansas, Florida. I think Austin, Texas had a breakout of amounts. And the West Coast, it seems to come down from the north to the south, transitioning with the spikes more that way. But each country's been different. So what have you guys been up to in normal life? What have you been doing? You know that Scarlett has been buying sequence dresses. We're going to get a picture of that later tonight. And Jojo's been feeding the poor, I'm sure, swimming, having a great time with his family. Tony has been sitting back in his electricity-free home, So we're going well.
And we've had rain.
A bit of rain, an annoying rain. Last couple of days I take my power tools out, line everything up, starts to rain, bring them all back in. 20 minutes later it stops, go out and try and do a bit more. 10 minutes later it rains. Just rain and be over and done with so I can keep working. But no, it comes and goes. So what you been cooking, Scarlett? Hopefully nothing in your sequence dress. You've been pottering in the garden again? Sounds good. I've ignored my garden for the last 4 or 5 days. But it's been raining, so it's been fed. Yeah, I'm doing a little video. We've ripped down the old porch. At the moment, we've got the footings in at the front for the steps and the new veranda. And I am sanding back 100-year-old Jarrah turned posts, of which I have 2 finished and 2 more to go, taking about 6 hours each post. It's a labour of love.
There'll be...
But there is a video up now, Buttercup, of the start of it on my channel. I think it's called Front Veranda Part 1.
She asked what plants for the front, probably...
Plants?
roses.
Probably roses. You did say plans, but I imagine you mean...
I thought you said plants. Oh, well, she's...
The wife wants a garden bed at the front. I like gardenias. She wants roses. So it'll be roses. I might put gardenias in pots out here.
You can put gardenias at the front. I'd be all right with that. In between roses. How big do they grow?
A gardenia can grow quite big. You've got to, if you want to keep it to a certain height, you've got to train it and cut it.
Oh, do the same with roses.
I like the white gardenia out the back here. Maybe that'd be nice around that back of the shed area. A couple of big pots of gardenia there. We'll do what you want out the front. It's paving, there's no grass, and a big limestone wall at the front with a limestone wall behind it to make a garden bed. There's always something to do. I've got things I need to do. I just need to do these posts first. I haven't put anything in the shed yet because I want to seal the outside of the shed down the bottom and the inside of the shed down the bottom.
And get shelving, eh? Get that in.
Get some
first.
shelving. Yep, maybe a bench.
Yeah,
We've got a heap of gear to put in there then.
I'm looking, maybe just those, like that there bench, they sell them in Bunnings too.
Oh, I want something pretty strong.
That's strong, isn't it?
So if I have a shelf, I can put all the bits and pieces that I can get to instead of having to go into a big box to get them.
I know, agree. Still some things in tubs.
Probably got 8 or 9 garden implements that I want to put in the shed. We'll get there. Actually, I'm going to make myself a cuppa. While I'm gone, you can talk to the folks.
I can leave it there.
Oh, you can sit there then.
No, because I'd like to see your legs walking. Or if you're making a cuppa, I'll have one.
No, you don't.
They do. I'll just come round there.
Good night, Tony.
See you, Tony.
So you want a cuppa now that I'm making it? Yeah, it worked out well.
I don't know, is that where I positioned the camera? I have to look at my phone though, what's being written. Okay, I can read you some poetry. Yes, I have one. Well, I think I have one mouse in the house. Oh dear. I just was too lazy to get up and make the cuppa, that's all. And it is 15 degrees. What's your temp, Butty? We've had rain for the last 3 days, on and off. Actually, I can hear a constant drip from the rain. Yeah, it's been, like Seed said, he gets the power tools out there and then he's got to bring them in, then take them out, then bring them in. I mean, the rain's been good. I haven't had to water the garden, but that's sort of hindering the guy who's doing the front porch. 22. Oh, God, I'd like that. Bloody 15 here, it's cold. Oh, I could have some chocolate, I suppose. I know, did yesterday. I looked through some old photos. I was tidying up my photos. Come across some real funny ones of Seeds in his heyday. I'll have to take a picture of him and send him to you, buddy. Yeah, it is funny looking through them actually. And then, of course, there's a few that I sent on to his daughter because she likes to do family history. But we don't know who they are actually. Don't know how we ended up with the photos. I shall open the door for him. or use Milo?
No, Milo.
Oh, where's my little cup? You always change cups.
It's in the sink. Someone hasn't washed it.
I thought, no, well, that's because you took them in earlier.
Oh, so I should have washed it.
I always wash the cups straight away.
Right. No, it's okay. Have your coffee. That's fine.
I said thanks. Well, what do you mean? What are you going on about?
So Tony's gone to bed.
Yeah.
Buttercup's gone silent.
No, she,
Oh, look, just
I
look,
was
might be a man
saying
in
that-
uniform there.
Another man. I was saying yesterday I was tidying up the photos and come across some funny old ones. I need some more.
Actually, Buttercup, if you are there, just let me know. And anyone else who's interested. I remembered the address of when I was a kid, when I
Oh,
lived
yeah.
in West Drayton.
That was fun doing that actually.
I remember telling Mystic Angel when we arrived at Heathrow, just over there is where I used to live. No man here. All right, here's the address. Do you want to type it in? Might make it easy. And then you can Google it.
Okay.
It's 32
Yeah.
Rutters,
Yeah.
Rutters.
R-U-T-T-E-R-S, is that what you said?
Yep, close.
Yeah.
West
Yeah.
Drayton, spelled Drayton. And that's where I grew up as a young boy. Like what we call a duplex, is that 2 up, 2 down duplex.
Yeah, it was fun putting in Google. What did you do, Earth or Maps?
Earth, I think.
I did Google Maps for some of the addresses I was checking out.
You might find a better picture, maybe for sale things. And yes, I was there in 1965 until 1969.
Surprising. You're actually lucky your house is still there. My mum's isn't there
Well,
anymore.
probably
so-
won't be there forever, I don't think. It's pretty.
I don't know.
Mine just right next to the damn airport now.
I think your area, yeah.
Pretty sure where the Heathrow Airport is, there used to be an American Air Force base. I think they sort of took that over and made it the big second airport of the UK, if you like. And that chocolate is rich, it's going to make me cough. I'm going to have some water.
Your Milo.
Mmm.
You put too much Milo in. Actually, it does.
3.
Oh, that's usually what I put in when I make it some Milo.
Oh, something I showed you. See them butters and others? They're blinds. It's like thick nylon stuff.
He did say.
And they're automatic. We can put them up and down whenever we like with a remote. It makes a nice little area now. Blocks the rain and allows the sunlight in.
Well, hopefully there's a bit more sunshine tomorrow. Because he said this, keeping it down for a few days when the sun's out will help. I don't know, got to settle or something.
Looking
Yeah.
for it online.
Seeds did Google Earth,
Actually, maybe if you look for
and I did.
rental or sales history, maybe you'll find more detail. If you do get more detail, send us a link.
Like we looked up some of the places we used to live, and one of them, well, we didn't look up the Tasmania one, but the last time we looked at that was your car in the driveway.
Yeah. Or the old car we had.
With the old car, yeah.
Sent you a picture of his looks today. It's still the same building. If you looked at the front, you'll see a little porch over the front door. And the window above is where I used to sleep. And I used to climb down about 4 o'clock in the morning. I was about a 6-year-old. It's a fair old drop for a 6-year-old, because every time I go thump, I go fishing.
What possessed you to do that? At
I
that
like
age?
fishing. And there was a little river called Little Britain, not far away. And it was an adventure.
So I wonder no one ever heard you doing that.
I got in trouble a few times.
That's a photo that Potty sent.
Yep, that's the house right there. And just round the corner where that hedge is, right there, I caught my biggest pheasant ever. I chased it all the way from the paddock, come up against there, and dived on it. It's not one building, it's two.
The duplex, is that?
Yeah, it's two. It's not one building. So we had half. I'll have half. And the park at the end of the street's no longer there. The lane going down that we could occasionally cut through to cut the 4-mile walk to school to 3. That's gone. I don't think the little shopping centre that was there and the big park that used to be across the road from the shopping centre, well, not a shopping centre, you know, a group of little shops. That's gone. That's all houses. And beyond that is Heathrow Airport.
Yeah, just using the front doors just like normal people do, Butty, but being the age that he's jumping out the window, he probably thought it was like exciting. Thought he was sneaking out.
An adventure into the unknown.
I mean, all your brothers and sisters were there.
Well, the brother would go every now and then, but
I mean, them.
I just like getting out, outside. I've always been an outside person. It seems natural. Yep, it was. It was normal.
I suppose I used to walk down the back of the property and go fishing with Mum. Try and catch eels. Or go next door. Creek that ran at the back of Mum's.
Mm-hmm.
Next door was Yugoslavia. Used to like catching the eels. Ugh.
Well, I mean, I was talking to Scarlett earlier about that buttercup. How far do we go with it? If we want to be brutal and say, okay, we'll make it universal, well, there is no more royal family. They're gone.
Yeah.
So how far do you go?
I agree. History shouldn't be.
You
that's
can't
history.
rewrite it. Some of our history is terrible. I mean, Australia's history is terrible. You have Aborigines that have been here for 50,000 years, and now we own the place.
I mean, there's more people than not are interested in history, and they like to go places and visit what was, what used to be.
Well, I think of it along the lines of destroying history is probably ignoring your future.
Yeah.
Meaning, what's more important?
You
well,
learn.
the past is the past, good and bad, lots of bad. But the future is more important. So, like I say, how far do you go? Do you dismantle the royal family?
I just don't agree that statues should be taken down. They were put up at that time for whatever reason. They were appropriate for the moment. Leave them. It's history. Ripping them down, that's just ridiculous.
Well, it's going to be trending all around the world. You've got lots of families that had association with slavery, and some of them are the wealthiest families on the planet. That's right. The wealthiest people on the planet used to run plantations and trade in spices and lives and slaves.
Yeah, I agree, Buddy. There are more positive ways. But, yeah, disrespect to things that were in the past.
Dwelling on the past does not secure your future.
Leave it. It's like those down at Fremantle. I don't know when was the last time you were at Fremantle. They've got
With you.
yeah, but when was that?
We went to the prison
Yeah, that was
about a
years
year ago.
No, you didn't come with us when Mum was still alive, did you?
No,
Anyway, there's
no, the
statues.
girls went down with her to the Freo.
There's statues of near the wharf. There's statues of children with suitcases and like what do you call them? Migrants. And then when we walked around the city, you've got this something to do with Aboriginals. You've got the kangaroo statues and I mean, just people to think if they knocked all those down.
It's like I say, the trend is against oppression of the past, which doesn't solve the future.
Well, it's not going to get rid of the past, knocking the statues down. Well, not physically it will, but not.
It's just symbolism. It's like political correctness gone completely mad, because how far do we go? The royal family in the UK would be dismantled. What about the mistreatment of all the people of Great Britain that was sent to the colony in Australia for stealing a loaf of bread? Sentence, the term of your natural life. May the flies be with you. Wah, wah. Welcome to Australia.
Some of history isn't nice, and some of the statues that are associated with the bad that happened, but it's still, I don't know. Statues were put up to honour certain people in certain ways, I suppose.
I should never rely on the government, Buttercup. They're not there to look after you.
Very sad. I mean, we travel to go look at certain statues. Look at the statues we looked at in Germany.
Yeah.
Imagine if they were gone. That's the tourism gone.
Yep. And if anyone thinks that today there is no slaves on the planet, they are terribly mistaken. The slave trade is just as strong as it ever was, either through coercion or aversion. There was a little clip, about 10 minutes, about a situation in one of our vineyards in South Australia where they've got something like 80 people from overseas, and they've got about 5 houses that those 80 people live in, so 15 to a house roughly. And they're all charged $150 a week rent, and other sundry items get charged for getting picked up with the bus to take them out to pick grapes, and they end up with very little money. Now, you can't tell me that that is not a form of slavery. 15 people to a house times 150 a week, this is a money-making exercise for someone, which means they're exploited, as slaves are. it's not a very pleasant world if you delve deep enough into it. The rich get richer, and the poor just have to put up with it. They never let you get so poor to the extent that you would die. Dead slaves are worth nothing. Anxious, needy, terrorised people tend to work to keep the peace. So what you been cooking? Still haven't got my potato recipe video. Potatoes are magnificent to cook with. We had a whole heap of them tonight with roast veggies that the wife cooked. It was yummy with a bit of sour cream and sweet chilli sauce. Mind you, I was that ravenous I'd eaten cardboard. Starving. But it was nice.
Yeah. That dark rye is a different bread, isn't it? It's really...
It's okay.
We've never had... I wonder what it'll be like without toasting it.
I think it'd make a good bread, cheese, pickle
Yes.
sandwich. We'll have one tomorrow. I bought some piccalilli that's in the fridge, did you notice?
And this time I'm going to use pumpernickel.
No, I used the dark rye, I think.
No, I will have pumpernickel.
I've got breadcrumbs yesterday. We'll do Greek potato restaurant. But sounds good. I appreciate that. I am always fascinated
Oh yeah,
with
there's
what
the
and
Greek
how people cook.
potato, yeah. I'm interested to see that. Because it's got lemon in it.
I don't know. He was going to do a video, wasn't he? He's busy, I guess. He's got grandchildren. It's now not frozen where he lives, so he can get out. The guy that put up, well, there's a team of guys that come today and put up these blinds, which are retractable electronically. He did set our table up nice and nifty and
Yeah.
did videos. He's going to use it for advertising.
I have to have a look if he's put it up. I have to look on his card what the name of his company is. Can't remember.
Oh, I've got to pay him. I forgot to
Oh yeah.
do that tonight. Yeah. So we haven't had the little doggies around because I've got this paint I'm removing and there's
Oh, yeah.
flecks everywhere and I don't want them sniffing and picking it up. So probably Tuesday I'll be all done and cleaned up. And then soon we might get animals of our own. Oh, that's good. I know he sort of missed working there, and he's not going to be working forever. Him and his girlfriend, I'm sure, will enjoy retirement in the future.
He's actually got a good job. Or he doesn't have to work during the winter, hey? He just works during the summer. Well, their summer.
Well, that's probably why he does lots of hours.
Yeah.
Make hay while the sun shines. Yeah, we got a couple of little videos of Danny. She went to, where did she go? Oklahoma,
Yeah.
a little lake area. Yeah, her
Yes.
daughter looks just like her, doesn't she? There's at least a couple of years difference.
Play my game shortly.
Yes, we'll toodle off shortly, I think.
You going to go back in the garden, Butty? Got a nice day today, she said.
Nice day. How's the deck situation going? Haven't caught up with you on that. We organised that deck area she showed us.
Yeah. Looks like it's getting colder.
Yes, rain equals weeds. Unless you've got lots of paving. There's only a few weeds that you have to spray every now and then. The outside deck, DECK. Just clarifying that. And the movement for the manhole, etc.
Your one. No, that was fixed.
It's fixed?
Manhole. You mean the...
Access for the
Yeah.
fireys. Oh, I see, yep. Oh, at front and back. Cool. Well, you show me your deck and I'll show you mine.
Yep. Well, no, you have shown yours.
No, but only in the new one.
Oh.
The front porch. It's only going to be a little porch, but comfortable, cosy, and cool during summer.
I got to play my game a bit.
And like I say, next week we get our lounge we've been waiting for. And we then get the ballast rail put in over there and down the back steps. And then I'll think of some sort of carport. Garage, carport, whatever.
I was going to go play my game.
Yep, I think we'll toodle off. So from the princess.
Princess.
Is that it?
Yeah.
And from me, this is going shortly, by the way. Yes,
Why?
because I can.
Okay.
Might do a couple of scary videos. First.
Everyone's going to say, why?
Anyway, have a great day. Be safe, be smart, and above all, be kind. Good night.